Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't
there are no accidents.
Yeah, Deepak Chopra said coincidences are a sign that you're on the right path.
I agree. Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely.
mm.
Just really before we start, I'm going to wait one more minute, I guess.
Yeah.
Wh what years were you in Montauk?
All of the 90s, from 1990 to 99.
I wish I knew that. Because I was
Yeah,
in New York at that time. I
yeah.
think we talked about how we were in New York at
In
the same
Hunter
time.
College, the same time, I think, weren't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
Hunter College. I worked kitty corner of Hunter College. I
Oh,
managed a ophthalmic practice on the Upper East Side for
wow.
years. It's just
Wow.
crazy.
Oh, Upper East Side. Yeah, two of my friends worked in Mellons. Do you remember Mellons?
Was it a
It's
store?
no, a restaurant, 74th and 3rd, I think.
No, I didn't go up that far. Well,
Right.
actually, I worked on 69th, so I did. It was right by me. I was on 69th and Lex. So,
Oh, look, and I worked in Burger Heaven on 56th and Lex.
oh my gosh, we were right there. Too bad.
My very first summer, first time I ever waitressed even, and Burger Heaven. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was great fun.
Small world, huh?
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
and my dad was very connected to the family, but because of my stepmom, he wasn't as I don't know, he just wasn't as social. I don't Not because of my stepmom, but
Yeah,
just because they had their life is what I meant.
yeah, yeah,
Had their life, they
yeah,
were focused and they were
yeah,
still had kids. Brian, my brother, was growing up,
yeah, yeah.
with us.
I did meet up with the Fanukans when I was there.
Yes,
Uh,
and my father loved the Fanukins.
yeah,
I mean, he had the big 50th wedding anniversary party on Long Island for the
yeah,
Nan and Pop.
yes, and I don't know where was I. What year was that?
Port Jeff Station
And what year? Can you remember?
at our house. It was their
Do you know?
50th. Gosh, I was probably 84, 85.
Oh,
I
just
was,
before I went. Yeah,
I think I was 14 or 15.
yeah.
I was young. Yeah.
Went in 87. So I think I just missed it. But I did hear about it because Phil and Pat were at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so nice to see family there. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, Jenny. Sorry, Jenny.
Yeah. Where's Jenny? There
Okay,
she is.
so I guess we'll start.
Yeah.
Let me. I'm gonna cut this off obviously from the recording for everyone.
Yeah.
Um, I thought we could pick up. I don't know if anybody had a chance to read my chat. Like we could just read two paragraphs at a time and pause. Thank you. And
Okay.
read two paragraphs at a time and then pause. And because I think we've been kind of rushing through it and then change readers after two paragraphs. Does that sound good with you guys?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes we've been reading a lot at a
Yeah.
time and it's a lot to digest, I think.
Yeah. So this is
I'm
the
just
this
gonna
you mean
go
continue
ahead.
on to where we were last week, is it?
Yes, we're going to start on chapter one. We're going back a little bit because we pushed past kind of a lot. So we're going backwards a tiny bit,
Oh,
a few paragraphs only. But let me start it off with this. This is from A Course in Miracles, the text, chapter 13. Alone, we are all lowly, but together we shine with brightness so intense that none of us alone can even think of it. And I just thought that was a beautiful quote that we could
yeah.
start with today.
Beautiful.
And if
Yeah.
anybody else wants to add anything, we can certainly add. I'm going to change the immersion since there's not as many of us, and I'll just do it.
Have you that
Do it
written down anywhere we can see it again later?
more. What's that?
Just what you read now.
Oh,
Oh,
I
it's
can
in
send
chapter 13. We can look at it
I
there.
can send it to you. I'll post it in the group. How about that?
Yeah. Okay.
I have these little cards, so I'll take a picture of it and post it in the group.
Okay, great.
And Francis, we're on chapter one, page 4.
Okay.
Would you
So
like to pick up the reading on paragraph 23?
okay, yeah. See.
Or Jenny? Jenny, are you comfortable reading today or do you just want to listen in?
can try to read, but my laptop, because it's closed, can you hear me okay? Or
Yes,
Yeah.
we
you
can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, I can read a little bit.
Okay, sure. That would be
So,
great.
so I saw that last week we ended off on, I think it was page 2 of the new book, and it was 24 was the last thing I highlighted. Am I in the wrong spot?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
that's
it's a
right.
different page for you. Yeah, but we're going back to 23. We're going to start at 23. I think I said 24, but
Okay,
it doesn't
so
matter. It doesn't
20,
matter. One or the other.
okay, so 23 says miracles rearrange perception and place all levels in true perspective. This is healing because sickness comes from confusing the levels. 24. Miracles enable you to heal the sick and raise the dead because you made sickness and death yourself, and can therefore abolish both. You are a miracle, capable of creating in the likeness of your Creator. Everything else is your own nightmare and does not exist. Only the creations of light are real. 25. And just let me know if you want me to stop. So,
You can read one more, and then
okay,
let's stop.
talk. Okay, so 25. Miracles are part of the interlocking chain of forgiveness, which, when completed, is the atonement. Atonement works all the time and in all the dimensions of time.
Okay. Does anybody want to talk about any of that? Or I prefer not defining things for you, but I can read explanations of things, terms, or anything if you would like that, or we can
Yeah,
read
could you
those.
kind of elaborate on 24? Like it says, like you made sickness and death yourself. So I guess that kind of confused me.
So I'm going to read the term of death, okay, and then
Yep.
sickness.
Yep.
And this comes from the Glossary Index for Course in Miracles.
Okay.
Death is the final witness to the seeming reality of the body and the separation from our Creator, who is life. If the body dies, then it must have lived, which means its maker, which is the ego, must be real and alive as well. Also seen by the ego as the ultimate punishment for our sin of separation from God. And obviously, it's the quiet laying down of the body, quiet for most of us, after it has fulfilled its purpose as a teaching device. And then let me read sickness for you. Sickness is a conflict in the mind, guilt, displaced onto the body. Okay. The ego's attempt to defend itself against truth, spirit, by focusing attention on the body. A sick body is the effect of the sick or split mind that is its cause, representing the ego's desire to make others guilty by sacrificing oneself, projecting responsibility for the attack onto them. And I'm hoping that this helps to, and you may not like get it now, but like the next time you read it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Miracles enable you to heal the sick and raise the dead because you made sickness and death yourself in your by separating from God, by the split mind. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can therefore abolish both. You are a miracle. You're one with God. You're one with everyone. Okay. Capable of creating in the likeness of your Creator. Hi, Rebecca. Everything else is your own nightmare and does not exist. Everything else in this world, right? Because it's a separated world. We separated from God because of, see, I'm explaining it and I don't want to do that. Only the creations of light are real.
Yeah.
Does that make more sense to you anyway, Jenny?
It does. It helps for sure. I didn't know if you saw my little
Okay.
message. Like at some point, I know you might be busy, but if you could post the definitions from the glossary, or
Sure,
is the way
I'll post them. I
Mm.
could do that in the group. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be perfect. Yep.
I'll just take pictures of I don't even need to write them out. I can either do links or I'll take pictures of it. Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I
Perfect.
think that'll help along with everything that we read here.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
It
Yep.
was
Because it
also
does, that was my hardest. That was honestly when I picked up the book and started reading, I glossed over the fact that this world is not real because it just did not make sense to me for the longest
yeah.
time, as long as I could, because it just, I was like, whatever. And I just kept going. And
Sure.
Yeah.
that's okay. So
Yeah.
just so that's my experience. So you understand it's not uncommon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's kind
That was
of
the hardest thing for me to grasp.
um
But it
and
makes perfect sense to me today. Okay. So just
right.
know that it will open up to you as you move through this material if it resides with your heart and spirit.
Yes. Yeah. And
Okay.
some of the things are definitely very powerful, but I have to
Mhm.
reread them because I'm like, well,
Absolutely.
what does ego mean? Like it says like, ego, and then I'm like, well, what is that definition? And I think once I understand the definition, then when I'm reading, it kind of all clicks.
Yes, absolutely. And it's like an aha moment, right? And let me
Yes.
read ego because I didn't read that. I probably
Okay.
read it in the past, but like I don't like to try to define it myself. So I will. This is a self-study course. It comes to you as it's meant to.
Sure.
So it's not for anyone to dictate, you know. So that's why I try to really stay away from that. I can share my experience with you only and then read this to you. I'm a strong believer in that because that's one thing that kept me from joining groups in A Course in Miracles for years. Because when I was in church and people were preaching to me about how it should be, I can't do that.
Sure.
I need to know, I need to just have the material presented to me and then take from it what I can. I don't like to go to groups where people preach about what A Course in Miracles is either. That's why I started my own group, quite honestly. I go in there and some of them are not that kind. And I just that's not what it's about. It's about
Right.
love and being
Sure.
kind and you're this being open to you as it's meant to. All right, so the ego. The belief in the reality of the separated or false self, made as a substitute for the self, capital S, that God created. The thought of separation that gives rise to sin, guilt, fear, and a thought system based on specialness, okay, to protect itself. The part of the mind that believes it is separate from the mind of Christ. This split mind has two parts, wrong and right-mindedness, almost always used to denote wrong-mindedness, but can include the part of the split mind that can learn to choose right-mindedness. Note, not to be equated with the ego of the psychoanalysis, but can be roughly equated with the entire psyche, which is the psychoanalytic ego, which the psychoanalytic ego is a part of. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep. And I'll probably have to. Do we have the glossary in that 3-part
No,
piece?
this is an entirely separate book. So
Oh.
what I'll do is there's a picture of the ego. I found a print somewhere. I'll find the
Oh. Okay.
picture and post it in the group as well, that kind
That
of
would be great.
describes the split mind. It might be so I bought, and this is my 6th time through the text. So
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
yeah. So I totally get it. And all I can say is if it resonates with you, just hang in there.
Hmm.
Got it.
Just keep hanging in there if it speaks to your heart, because that's why I'm here, and that's why I continue to work it or allow it to work me. because it sings to my spirit that it's the reality, the truth.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So who wants to pick up reading? Oh, go ahead, Rebecca. Hi.
Yeah, we got what 6 to 9 inches of snow last night. My
Oh,
glasses are finally clear enough. But you guys, I I had quite an interesting week, and then when I would look at my lessons for that day, I'm like, oh my gosh. So you guys were talking about the ego, and I got this book. It's called The Course of Miracles Experiment, a starter kit for rewiring your mind. Pam
And
Grout.
who's that by? Pam Grout.
Yes. So she just does little extra, so like I read my lessons every day, but she just puts like a little thing on here every day. And the one for yesterday, which is pretty topical for what you guys were just talking about, it's called The Rumble in the Jungle Inside My Head. And it says, um, it, and she always has like a little quote. And it says, if you sucked all the thoughts out of your head, you'd find nothing but peace. And
I
so
love it.
it goes on to say, and it all talks about the ego. The ego's a shapeshifter. Constantly, it's working to throw me off guard. It tries to convince me it's big and scary and powerful and that it can get me at any time. And then it talks about because the ego deals in untruth and uh, it has to conceal itself to be effective. So, and it's just, that's why whenever I have the presence of mind to do so, I separate myself from the ego's voice by simply observing it. I think I think about it in the third person. That way I'm not tempted to take the ego's lies as my identity. So she
I
just
love
writes
that.
these little things, and I said, and because even though if you've read the text, you've done all the glossary, you've done all this stuff, sometimes you still get sort of like, what exactly does that mean? And the ego is really the big one. And I love the line where she just says, observe it, don't act on it, because we're in, that's when everyone wants like, well, just like just like with the snowstorm, they were talking about it for 3 days. Well, I live in New Hampshire. It's supposed to snow here. It's just not supposed to snow 4 times in 8 days. It's like, stop for a minute. But, they go, it's going to be an inch, it's going to be 10 inches, it's going to be 12, it's going to be ice, it's going to be this and that. And you just go, you know what? It's going to do what it does. So you got to kind of let all that
Just
noise
let it
out of
go.
it,
yeah.
and that's
Kind of like
and
not
that's the
watching.
ego part, because it wants to take that in. Oh, what should I do? What can I do? Blah, blah, blah. And yeah, the ego.
To share from my experience, sorry, Rebecca, but to share
That's
from
okay.
my experience, I call it my me go, because
Yeah.
Okay.
it is that part of me that wants to be special, that wants attention, that wants to say, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but,
Yes.
and it causes division. Okay. So that is why I call it my me go. I don't even call it ego. I call it me go, because that's the specialness that I want, that
Yes.
I can observe it, I observe that. And I love the sucking the thoughts out of your mind. There's just peace. That is just because all those thoughts are the me go, or my me go,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So
It is.
that's helped me too.
That's great.
So I made it though. I came in, I go, oh, it's only 11:15. I can get on the call.
Oh yeah, you can get in anytime, even if it's just for the last 5 minutes. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we're at paragraph 26. Francis, did you want to read?
Okay. Miracles represent freedom from fear. Atoning means undoing. The undoing of fear is an essential part of the atonement value of miracles. I liked that last week when it said at one month. That's nice.
Mhm.
So 27, a miracle is a universal blessing from God through me to all my brothers. It is the privilege of the forgiven to forgive. 28, miracles
Yeah,
are
go
a way of earning release from fear. Revelation induces a state in which fear has already been abolished. Miracles are thus a means, and revelation is an end.
I love that.
Yeah,
Mm.
I like that freedom from fear.
It's beautiful.
Atoning is undoing. Yeah,
I don't know about you all, but doesn't it just make you feel like,
Yeah,
like
like you can drop your shoulders,
yeah,
untense, this area.
yeah.
I love it.
Why did we make everything so difficult? Humans.
It's the ego.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the
It's my
Migo.
yeah,
And it's not amigo, it's Migo.
yeah,
yeah, but it
yeah,
reminds you of amigo, right?
Yes.
I
yeah,
love it. So Rebecca, just suggested that because I feel like we've kind of been rushing through this, is to just read like 3 paragraphs, 2 or 3
Huh?
paragraphs, and then pause.
mm,
And then
Yes.
everybody take turns reading so everyone gets a chance to read if they want to. How's that sound?
mm,
That's perfect.
mm.
Okay.
There's
So you
no
can pick
there's
up.
no go going on with that.
There's no hurry, right? Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure that we don't try to rush through it because I
Yeah,
think I felt like we were reading a bit too much last week. That if
Yeah.
anyone, you know what I mean? So I don't know if that's just me or I'm
no,
open. I'm not trying to control. I just want to
yeah,
see
No, I
how
did like that
everyone's.
in number where it says here it's a hugely packed sentence. It's a privilege of the forgiven to
mm,
forgive.
yeah,
I love
And
that.
yeah,
that in there lies the miracle.
It's right there. That's it. Right
yeah.
there.
Mm. I suppose not everybody has that privilege.
No, and it's hard to, just a little thing I had, I went 1000% against my grain Wednesday, and I clicked on a link from my bank, a text.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
I'm
What
in the middle
happened?
of that. Oh,
I'm so sorry.
they were like scammers got in there. Fortunately, I have a really good bank, a credit union, but that's an instance that it can send you spiraling because you've got
Right.
1,000 what ifs, this and that,
Mm,
because you want to do something now,
mm,
and that just that just doesn't happen now. So it's one of those things where you have to stop. First of all, I had to read my lesson for the day. And I'm like, holy crap, it was Wednesday's lesson. And I'm like, it was so perfect. And so that's where this kind of stuff really comes into your own everyday life, where you just because you first have that reaction of, oh my God, what am I going to do? And
mm,
then, because now I have no idea. I got stuff that's supposed to be being paid out of the bank. I got stuff coming in. I've got an ATM card that doesn't work. Fortunately, my bank gives you one right there, and it's active immediately. But I just kind of like had to stop, got up my list. Okay, here's the cards here, so I just kind of made like a little action plan. I stopped doing, instead of like, because I'm going, oh, I got Social Security
Or
checks coming in the week. I got
reacting. Yeah, you
report.
stopped reacting,
Yes.
but you just did what was in front of you, right? That's what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. And that's exactly what you have to do. And you just go in, like I had to go in the bank a couple times, and they're just the sweetest, nicest people. I think we had a snowstorm that day too. So,
Of course.
it's where this kind of learning and practicing comes in handy because it can spiral you. Something like that can spiral you right out and like, I got a mortgage coming out, I got this coming, you're like, they're like, no, we got it. If it comes in the old bank, we'll run it through the new bank. And I'm like, as soon as they told me that, I was like, whew, it's kind of like the
Ooh,
show.
right?
I'm like, okay, because I don't want to be homeless. It's winter.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's just a lesson. It's a huge life lesson. And that's a big thing. That's more than just having a credit card, compromised. I've got everything, so anyway, I love this work. I could go over it. It seems like it's the first time I ever read it,
I
even
love
though
it.
I've been over it
Mm,
4 or 5 times.
mm, mm.
So
Wow.
I totally understand.
Mm,
That's why I love being in it because it's like it's just so beautiful. I just
mm,
love, and I love being in it with others to see that, to feel that and
mhm.
experience it,
mm,
you
Yeah,
know?
it makes you feel good. And you'd be surprised. It does show on you as a person when you're out in the world where you are emotionally, where you are just by being kind and smiling, even when it's like, at the grocery store parking lot where you're just like, that can set you off, and you just kind of go, well, it is what it is.
The world needs it. The world needs us. The world needs
It
us.
does. The world
Needs
does
this
need
through
us.
us.
And there's
Yes,
a lot
it does.
more of us out there than we know. I can tell you that.
Yes. Unfortunately, we may not run into a lot of them.
I know. But
I
you
keep
know what?
looking.
You just bless them with your mind. I've just always done that.
Oh,
I
the
bless you,
power of
Mother.
that. In meditation, just push out that love. Just put it, the energy, because it's the energy of love. And
Yes.
I'm totally off topic, but it's so powerful. Again, that you get what you receive because it feels,
Yes, you
I
do.
call it, I call it my soul tingles because my soul just tingles from it.
Yeah.
mm.
Whose
So
turn
did
is
you
it to
start
read?
on number 23?
We went over that. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
we started at 23.
Okay.
I recorded it too.
Yeah.
Whose turn is it to read? Did
Should be
everyone read?
Rebecca's. Is Rebecca's?
I could read. Are we on number 29?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Miracles praise God through you. They praise him by honoring his creations, affirming their perfection. They heal because they deny body identification and affirm spirit identification. That's a big one.
It just reminds me of what we were just talking about there, right?
Because
Mm,
we should be identified by our spirit.
mm,
And it shows. So
mm,
it really does. Like when I do my Airstream stuff, when we go to rallies and stuff, Cherie, our president of our all women's club, she goes, "You've never met a stranger." I said, "You just say hi to people, you know?
I'm the same way.
You
mm,
just say hi to them, and then they're like, oh, and then they smile and wave at you, and they're like, do you know him? No.
mm, mm.
And if he tells me his name, I won't remember it, but if he tells me 10 times, I might. Anyway,
It's funny. I'm terrible with names too. And the funny thing is I'm an introvert, but I'm very social and I can be very, you know, I put myself
yes,
out there entirely.
Mm,
yeah. I like my home time and staying in my stuff, but if I got to go out there, I'm going to go out there. So,
exactly.
Same.
Yeah.
mhm.
Mm,
By recognizing spirit, miracles adjust the levels of perception and show them in proper alignment. The This places spirit at the center where it can communicate directly. Miracles should inspire gratitude, not awe. You should thank God for what you really are. The children of God are holy, and the miracles honor their holiness, which can be hidden but never lost.
I love that.
that's nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that one can pack a punch there. It's
Mm,
truth. I inspire all miracles, which are really intercessions. They intercede for your holiness and make your perceptions holy. By placing you beyond the physical laws, they raise you into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, you are perfect.
mm,
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, lovely.
I love it.
Mm.
Does anybody have anything to add? Jenny, would you like to pick up the reading again?
Yes, I can. Yep. Are we ready, or did you want to discuss anything first? Or
It's open. It's up to you guys.
okay. 33. Miracles honor you because you are lovable. They dispel illusions about yourself and perceive the light in you. They thus atone for your errors by freeing you from your nightmares. By releasing your mind from the imprisonment of your illusions, they restore your sanity. 34. Miracles restore the mind to its fullness. By atoning for lack, they establish perfect protection. The spirit's strength leaves no room for intrusions. 35. Miracles are expressions of love, but they may not always have observable effects. 36. Miracles are examples of right thinking, aligning your perceptions with truth as God created it.
Yes.
Do you want me to keep going, or
No, let's stop there. I just
okay.
love all of that.
Yeah,
I know.
I do too. I was like, oh, I like this. I'm highlighting as I go.
yeah.
I got the highlighter out.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
guys seen that meme where it's got the Course in Miracles book that's all yellow instead?
It's a meme about like highlighting in A Course in Miracles. Everything's
Oh,
highlighted.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
really?
God, that's funny. I haven't seen that, but that's funny.
Yeah, just
Oh,
give me a
But you can
paintbrush.
relate.
Yep.
yeah,
I
Oh
know.
yeah.
wow.
So I really like that number 35.
Yes,
Miracles are
because
expressions of love, but they don't always have observable effects.
Mm.
just like putting that energy of love out there,
Yeah.
we can't see that. But go
Mm.
ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, no, because so many people want a tangible proof. And sometimes your gut and the inside of you is all you really need for proof.
Mm.
Although I was wrong a few months ago. But that one didn't work very good. But
You're
you just
you're you,
you just
it's
have it in you.
to me, I don't know what your experience was, why you say you were wrong, but to me that was just a lesson.
Mm.
There's
It was a
there's
lesson.
there's
All
nothing.
wrong.
Yeah.
I thought love was going to win out. I
But
was solid on
everything's
that
a
one.
lesson, and there are no accidents in God's been there are no accidents. Everything
No,
is for the ultimate. And we'll get to that in this book, but there are no accidents.
Mm.
As much as we want to scream and shout, our amigos,
yeah, our
Mm.
amigos. I like that.
not our amigos, but our amigos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
Mm.
I just love all of this.
Yeah.
It just fills my heart. I get
Mm.
those tingles.
Mm.
mhm.
Mm. Wow.
Anyone else?
Um,
Francis, would you like to read again?
yeah. So I go on to it's 37, is it? Yeah. A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. It acts as a catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. This places you under the atonement principle, where perception is healed. Until this has occurred, knowledge of the divine order is impossible. Okay. So you have to
And
heal.
again, that makes sense if you think of
Yeah.
that as at one, right? As
Yeah.
well, that helps.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely at one. Perception is healed. Yeah. Um, the Holy Spirit is the mechanism of miracles. He recognizes both God's creations and your illusions. He separates the true from the false by his ability to perceive totally rather than selectively. Okay, the Holy Spirit. Yeah, yeah. I like that. God's creations and your illusions. Um,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, yeah. It's like that when man plans and God laughs.
Exactly, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey,
okay.
you keep, excuse me. Hey, stop it, stop
Uh-oh,
Oh,
dog trouble.
oh.
I
Didn't know who she was shouting at.
think the
it.
dogs.
That was my biggest and my smallest.
Oh,
The
wow.
smallest was the smallest, they're best friends, but
Oh.
she can be vicious. That was her attack. They love each other. I think he just heard her or something. So she was like,
Oh. Oh.
she gets loud. Sorry about that.
Not at all.
That's
Okay,
not very
30.
common.
Yeah. They're like siblings, aren't they? I think
Oh
dogs.
They
God,
love each
Yeah.
other.
animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they still kill one another. Okay, the miracle dissolves error because the Holy Spirit identifies error as false or unreal. This is the same as saying that by perceiving light, darkness automatically disappears. Oh,
I love
uh,
that.
yeah,
You can't you can't be in the darkness and see light. You know,
yes, exactly, yeah. Um, the
I mean you
miracle,
can, but you know what I mean. The
yeah,
darkness disappears.
yeah, yeah. It's mad, isn't it? Yeah. Um, the miracle acknowledges everyone as your brother and mine. It is a way of perceiving the universal mark of God. Right.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I know that's,
Everyone. It
yeah.
says everyone,
Yeah.
not selective.
I know. And it's true. And it's only when you travel, to other countries and you say, everyone's the same, you know?
Oh my gosh. Living in New
Yeah.
York
God.
City,
Yeah.
I was like, we are all the same. That
All,
was
yeah.
moving around as much as I did. I said that is such a gift because I could
Yeah.
see how different cultures, but we are all the same. We all just want to
All,
be loved.
yeah. Yeah.
Just it was so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to work in a health food store in Montauk, and there was these herbal teas, and they always had little inspirational notes. But one of them was, just remember everyone has loved and everyone has lost.
Yes.
And
So
I always
true.
thought that was really unifying the whole world, every single person in the whole world,
It's
And
beautiful.
yeah, isn't it? Yeah,
And the funny thing is, even if they're not like that now, like you can't see that in them now. Think of
yeah,
them, what I do, what helps me a lot when I have a problem with
yeah,
forgiveness, like
yeah,
letting go,
yeah.
is I think of them as they were as a child
Yes, a little
or
baby.
an infant. Yes,
Yeah,
because they 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 were loved and they lost then too, because that's
yeah,
part of the entire.
absolutely. Yeah, so sad. Yeah, I often think of the mothers, right? The mothers of of the people,
Yeah.
and that they had a mother and she dangled him on his knee, on her knee. And what happened, after that? I don't know. But
Or maybe she didn't, and
well,
that's part of
that's the
tragic,
other
you know.
thing. Yeah, that's the
That's
other thing. Yeah, yeah.
so
So,
it's just it
mm,
can kind of give you compassion and
yeah,
help you to let go when you're struggling. It does
yeah,
for me.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah. So somebody else
We're
said something about you never know whose arms you're going to be placed into the day you're born.
No, we don't.
true.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
That's so true.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So,
And we all have our stories, and that's,
yeah, that's
it's
the thing. Yeah,
just trusting that, everyone has their story and just loving them anyway.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Um,
I could
well,
go back. I mean, when I see, watching movies like that where you see people are traumatized or neglected or abused, I mean, I could
yeah,
sit there and just cry. I can't. I can honestly I have a hard time watching those type of movies because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just so heartbreaking, even
Yeah.
though to me
Yeah.
it's not who they are, but still
No.
it's just very, very hard. But it gives me compassion
Yeah. Yeah.
for those I'm having a hard time forgiving, realizing that they have their stories.
Yeah. Yeah. But then you wish they'd have compassion too. You know?
But
Yeah,
some
and
people are just so angry they're unable to be. But I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Rebecca.
right. Well, no, I'm just thinking, and then that's where it's our job as what we would call a child of God is to hold that space for them. We're
Yeah.
not, we can't fix them or
Fix
whatever.
them.
And sometimes, oh, I was talking with my mom yesterday and she was going on about something and I just let her talk. She goes, I just need to get that out. I go, well, that's what we need to do sometimes. You just need someone just to listen. And
Mm.
sometimes
Yeah.
you just hold
Mm.
space for them, whether it's listening to them, holding their hand. It's really hard to get out of the reactionary phase of your life. Because especially as women, we're trained from the time we're little. I mean, I'm the oldest of 5 kids.
Mm.
And so I've always felt like I had to take care of them. And
Oh, I bet you did.
so you just kind of like it's hard to get out of that. You know when you should be doing something and up until that moment, just hold space.
Mm.
You know, what's the old saying? Be kind, everyone's fighting a battle that you know nothing
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Mm.
And it's true,
Mm.
you know.
Mm.
In A
So we
Course in
just
Miracles, I'm sorry.
no. No, it's
I
okay.
hate talking over people. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. But what I just wanted to add is that that's about aligning with Holy Spirit, right? And following Holy Spirit's direction too, so that we don't react, right? We
Right.
can go inside for instruction, basically,
I mean,
inspiration.
there's obvious things, if you see somebody choking in a restaurant, you're going to give them the
Oh yeah.
Heimlich.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when it comes to especially like emotional stuff or, when you see, we have a lot of homeless here. We have a lady, I have no idea how old she is, but she's done this for years. And I've just noticed this year she's gotten really slow. She walks from sun up to sundown with a cart and people supply her with stuff, but she has little bouts of like she's at the Market Basket parking lot one day this summer and she is just yelling, but you just kind of look, and there's not a lot you can do in a situation like that. All I can do is look at and bless her and make sure that she's not in pain or she needed help.
Mm.
She was just having an episode, whatever,
Mm.
and I mean, it's snowing like crazy the other day, and she's walking the sidewalks with her cart,
Mm.
you know. So it's just an example of that
Mm.
where you just kind of you just make sure they're okay, and then you just bless
Yeah.
them with your
Mm.
holiness.
Mm. Mm.
I like being
Uh-huh.
like that,
Yeah.
It's
but it's hard to break.
challenging. Yeah, it
It's
is.
very challenging.
Mm.
Yes.
Where we
Wendy,
leave
you
off
got it read.
41. I know. I
Yeah.
Um,
feel like I talked. I feel like I talked too much.
No, I talk a
We're
lot
on
too.
40. We're going to start on
on
40.
4. Yeah.
40.
I'll pick it up. The miracle acknowledges everyone as your brother and mine. It is a way of perceiving the universal mark of God. Wholeness is the perceptual content of miracles. They thus correct or atone for the faulty perception of lack. A major contribution of miracles is their strength in releasing you from your false sense of isolation, deprivation, and lack. A major contribution of miracles is their strength in releasing you from your false. Oh, I just read that. I'm sorry. Miracles arise from a miraculous state of mind or a state of miracle readiness. And I'll just pause there because there's a lot in all of that.
Mm.
If anyone wants to comment.
Mm.
So we're all one, wholeness.
Mm.
They correct or atone for, at one, any perception of lack.
Mm-hmm.
And they release you from a false sense because it's impossible to
Right.
really be
Isolated.
isolated. That's why, when people pass, to me, it's like they're still here with me, they're part
Right.
of us because we're all one,
Mm.
so there's no isolation, deprivation, or lack of any kind. It's just our my migo.
Yeah, yeah.
Amigo.
Sorry.
You need to
I've
make a
loved
meme
that term
for that.
I've used it
Yeah.
for years. I'm
I
sorry,
love
Jenny.
it.
No, I said you should make like a meme for that, like a personal meme, like Miko. Like I don't know. I think it's cute.
Like on my migo.
Yeah.
No kidding. I like
I
it.
love
I wrote it down in my book, Migo.
Yeah, I have to.
because it's
Yeah.
it's that specialness, that I think I have,
Mm.
or I can so quickly go there. And the
Mm.
more that I do this, the less I go there, so it's just a gift.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
And reminding others that they're not alone,
yeah.
because when people, and it's hard because I think this is a lonely world,
Yeah.
It
I think
is.
it's
and
definitely become that way over time.
yes,
I think back when we were younger, it was a lot of unity with family and friends, and now I don't know if it's because of technology or what, but I feel like everyone is so spread out and so away from each other.
Yeah.
well, you can be in the room with people and they're all on their phones.
Yeah.
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 So everyone's alone. You're alone in a room,
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
call
I
it a
mean, that's
cell phone for nothing. Like a cell.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. True. Wow.
I feel like you're exactly right because when I grew up, I'm the youngest of five, Rebecca. I love that. You're the
Yeah.
oldest and I'm the youngest. But when we grew up, we were all just playing in the neighborhood. Everyone was we were
Yeah.
all together. Families lived closer. They all
Yeah.
would get together periodically. None of that anymore.
Yeah,
Not
like
for me
like you'd have
anyway.
a birthday party and the whole family was there. It was a
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
thing,
Half the
and
time, people don't remember, they have too much going on. And
right.
another, it's the busyness of the world, the
Sure.
constant
Yeah.
pressure.
But I
Yes.
don't
Yeah.
understand why has the world become so busy? I mean, is it because of the technology, or is it just because we're
Okay.
getting older and I don't understand how it's changed that drastically in just say like 20 years,
Mm.
It's insane to
I
me.
tried it because I was thinking about when I used to have time to do things, and now it's like
Yeah,
I don't have that time anymore. And
okay,
I'm not
with
even
that,
like I'm not even talking about my physical stuff that I like to
yeah,
do, but even just things not discounting that because I haven't been doing it lately. And I'm like, I have no time
no,
anymore.
right, yeah. All of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and it's like, oh my gosh, like where'd that day go?
Mm.
I know. That's when I go, oh, it's time to do whatever I want now. It's 5.
Right?
When I retired, because I worked a pretty grueling schedule for 33 years,
I bet.
rotating
Yeah. That night.
12-hour shifts. So I had everything was really planned out. I had a son, I was a single mother, and he was into football and band. So like, I would get his football schedule and I would pencil that in my calendar. When do I have to take vacation? This and that. So it was always a planning thing. My days off were all my doctor's appointments. So then when they shut the plant down on the 1st of June in 2020, so we were not only in COVID, I now no longer have my job that I had for 33 years. Fortunately, I was union, so I got a good pension and stuff. But I would have probably went nuts if I would not have had the training for the Course in Miracles. But the point of the story is like it took about 6 or 8 months. All of a sudden, I go, how did I work? I'm still being busy. How did I
Time.
do that job?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now
And the
someone,
funny thing is, I totally get that because I work from home and I'm like, how did I fit commuting into my
Yeah.
day? I have no
Yeah.
idea.
I know. I'm like, how did and I used to just like boom, boom, boom. And now I think now too, I go, it doesn't have to be done today.
Mm. Mm.
So, but yeah, you just kind of go, is it because of technology that we're busy?
Yeah, I think so.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, and that's why, and I have to do certain stuff. I have a big old bathtub, like when we redid my bathroom. The 5 foot, it's clawfoot, it's tub from like 1918. We
Oh,
pulled it
wow.
out of an apartment.
Beautiful.
And so anyway, I have water running in it right now. It's cast iron, so it needs hot water in it to warm it up for a half hour. But I just put it on low on hot, so I know when we get done with this, I got my book. Annie Lamont. I'm just about done with a book of hers, and so I'm gonna go sit in the tub, and
Nice.
that's when
Sounds
get
wonderful.
off the technology because I don't like bringing my phone in the
Oh,
bathtub because I
Good.
figure it will
Good.
fall in.
Good.
surely drop it.
So,
I know, right, Francis?
so you have to do that.
Mm.
You have to make that time.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yes,
So,
it's self-care. Absolutely. I have
Mm.
another group just about loving yourself because I mean, I'm terrible at it. So it's,
Mm.
yes, me too.
Mm. I think like before technology, there were hours in the day when there was nothing to do. And
I
and
miss
some of
Yeah.
us,
that.
Yeah.
yeah, and some of us might have
I'm
said,
bored. I'm
as a,
bored.
yeah, but as a child or a teenager, you would have called it being bored,
Oh,
and
exactly.
I'm bored,
You knew better than to say that.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
Yes,
Whereas,
exactly.
whereas
I'm
now,
bored. Oh, really?
yeah,
My
Here's
car
the
needs
toothbrush.
washing.
Go clean.
now there's no reason to be bored because we just browse our phones all the time.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. And that's
So
boring
that,
too.
yeah, but it just fills up our time. Then we're like, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock. I can't believe, whatever.
That
But
is so true.
yeah, and everything, even as simply, I was trying to think of somebody's name yesterday, somebody well known here in Ireland. Oh, I said, let's just Google it. Whereas before you spent like 4 hours trying to think somebody's name.
Yep.
But
Yeah, my dad, he always said, look it up in the dictionary, look it up in the dictionary. I'm like,
yeah,
if only he knew how easy.
yeah,
Yeah, if you only knew about Google.
yeah,
Well, do you remember
yeah,
calling the operator and you'd be like, I'm looking for this person in this town, and they would
yeah,
like sit there and talk with you and look through
yeah,
their
yeah,
like database or whatever they had, their
yeah.
yellow pages, but you
That's
were calling
hilarious.
I
that
know.
way.
I
And they'd be
know.
like, can I get the address too?
Yeah,
I mean, that's long past.
yeah.
Yeah, those
Everything.
days are gone.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, if you guys don't mind, do you want to finish reading this? It might go a little over, but that way we can at least
yeah,
stop and start section 2 next time.
yeah. Okay.
I think did I stop on 43? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
So who's next?
Jenny, who's next? Francis?
No, I think
Jenny?
Jenny.
I can read if you want.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, great. Thank you.
So 44.
yeah.
Yes.
The miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ in the acceptance of his atonement. 45. A miracle is never lost. It may touch many people you have not even met. I love that. And produce undreamed of changes in situations of which you are not even aware.
Mm.
46. The Holy Spirit is the highest communication medium. Miracles do not involve this type of communication because they are temporary communication devices. When you return to your original form of communication with God by direct revelation, the need for miracles is over. 47. You want me to keep going? Keep going?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we could
Yeah, it's
finish?
just
Okay.
like wow.
Yeah. 47.
We can pause there if you want. I mean, do you guys want to
Well,
talk about that?
how about if we just finish and then we can go back and maybe talk about it? And I'll
Sure.
finish if you want. So,
Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
okay, 47. The miracle is a learning device that lessens the need for time. It establishes an out of pattern time interval, not under the usual laws of time. In this sense, it is timeless. 48. The miracle is the only device at your immediate disposal for controlling time. The only revelation transcends it, having nothing to do with time at all. 49. The miracle makes no distinction among degrees of misperception. It is a device for perception correction, effective quite apart from either the degree or the direction of the error. This is its true indiscriminateness. I think I said that right. 50. The miracle compares what you have made with creation, accepting what is in accord with it as true, and rejecting what is out of accord as false.
Yeah. So can you tell that this book was written through some very educated people?
Oh, absolutely. Some of the words I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta like look at it and sound it out first. I'm like, holy mackerel.
That's Helen and Bill, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, she was a channel, so
Yes.
she was a channel for Jesus. So yes, they were very educated, but this was channel material. I love that they were both educated and intellectuals, because it makes it all the more believable to me.
Believable, yeah.
Because they're from Columbia Presbyterian. I mean, that's
right.
And they were on complete,
reputable,
like, opposite ends of the
different
spectrum. That, and they fought like crazy and stuff too. But I think that's why this is such a powerful book, is that, it's not like they were the besties. And I don't think they were ever really besties.
Oh, no.
No.
I think they had love and respect for each other, but they were very different.
Very different. So it's kind of like a lesson to learn from them about,
I almost feel like this unhinged Helen a bit. This unhinged her.
Oh, yeah.
If you read the story, yeah.
She was Jewish. And she's like, why am I doing this? And then in the purple book, at some point in time, there's a cameo in there that I absolutely love, and we'll have to read it on here after we get into this a little bit. It's in the purple book, and it's the one about where she goes back to all her other lives, and she dreams about them. Maybe it's in her book. I also have her book by the bathtub. I got Annie Lamont, and I have her book. It's a tough read. It's long, but yeah, there's just a lot in here, and I just know from past experience that all of this stuff from the 50 principles will be repeated nonstop throughout the book.
Throughout the book, you guys, absolutely.
Nice. Okay.
And that's another reason I don't try to define it. There's just, to me, it comes up in another way at another point, and to me, it's meant to be. It'll open up. It'll open up, and the more you read it, it'll open up. So, I would like to say that I love how it says the miracle is a learning device that lessens the need for time. It's timeless, right?
Yeah, because it can happen in an instant. Miracles happen in an instant.
It's all like I always say this, that it's okay because it's right here, right now. Has nothing to do with the future, has nothing to do with the past. It's right in it's always in the instant. Okay. It's always in the moment.
I love that. I love this whole thing.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything to say or questions or?
No, I don't.
And I'll find the actual glossary online and see if I could share that. And that way this is from Ken Wapnick, which this book is by the Foundation for Inner Peace, which is what Ken Wapnick was associated with. I will.
Yeah, I think he's the one who wrote the book about Helen, right? Isn't Ken Wapnick?
I'm sure. Probably. I love Ken. He's like, he takes so much of the pressure off, because there's only so many teachers I could listen to, because he's like, you know what, you're in this world, you act normal, you just act normal, go with this world, and not condemning you for not being elevated.
Exactly. And that's where, and you will find, even in here, you will find your tribe, you will find your group. I can't get into the ones who are constantly correcting you for not using the right
Oh
language.
yeah.
I
Oh
just
yeah.
go,
And some of my
that's
friends,
fine, you guys are good. I think this
some of my
is
friends will even say, don't, if you're expressing real life things going on. And I get it. Yes, I can be
yeah,
aligned in the moment, but I can still express this. But they remind you of the truth of who you are, which is not bad, but you have to do it always in kindness and love. And I'm about the kindness and love part. That is
yeah,
so important to me,
exactly.
is to remind in love and kindness, and not be critical or harsh. And some of
And to
them are a bit
remember to
harsh.
observe. A lot of times, all you have to do is just be there and observe.
Exactly, because a lot of people are where they are, they're not going to be where you are, or it's just about love. To me, it's, you just have to be gentle, even if it's in just observing and letting go.
Mhm.
So
All
I
about
totally
love.
agree with, yes, it's all about love. So yay, thank you guys. What a great
Great.
morning. I woke up
Thank
feeling,
you.
Thank you.
it's really, I always feel wonderful after we meet.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I do too. And that's why I was like, dang it. I was looking at the timing. I go, I'm not going to make it. And then I was like, oh, we got done fast. When I was doing the snow
Well, I'm
removal.
grateful.
Yes.
Well, I'm grateful. My husband did that this morning. We got 4 inches overnight, which isn't a lot, but
Yeah.
it seems like a lot because it's been snowing here all week too.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just been one of those things where it just keeps snowing. It is what it is.
Mm. Mm.
Oh, well.
How about you,
I live in
Jenny?
New
Do you have a lot of
Hampshire.
snow?
We have nothing, and
Oh,
we
really?
might get a little bit Monday, but it's very dry here. Like there's actually big cracks in the ground because it's so dry. But it's
Really.
Oh,
very cold.
wow.
It's very cold today, but no precipitation, and we really need it because I'm out in the rural area, and it's all farms, and so
Yeah.
all the farmers that we're friends with, they're just like, oh my gosh, we need precipitation so bad. It's
Wow.
terribly
I
dry.
know.
Where is that?
I'm
Where
sorry,
are you? Where are you?
Nebraska.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
She's in like the center of the United States.
Very
Yeah.
Nebraska is
much in the
No.
center, pretty
right there
much.
in the
Yeah,
center.
Yeah. That's so big, isn't it?
yeah. Big,
The,
big.
It
the
is.
continent.
Nebraska is a big state. I had to drive all the way through it to get to
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah.
I flew
And
to
to get to Wyoming.
California a few years ago, and I just couldn't believe looking out the window how big America was. Like for
Yeah.
It
hours.
is.
And then
Oh,
you
yeah.
saw Mississippi going all the way down the center. Just amazing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's pretty vast. And that's why a lot of people don't you have to remember that America's not New York City or Los
No, yeah,
Angeles
yeah,
or
exactly.
Florida. It's
Yeah,
this whole
it's huge,
encompassing
huge.
thing.
Yeah, yeah,
It's huge.
yeah. I
I
mean, when
mean,
people in Ireland compare America, I said, we're a dot. We're a tiny dot. Like we're even a dot beside England. England is huge beside us, you
you're a
know.
really pretty dot, though.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dot. I
It's a
need to go back
beautiful
there.
dot.
Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful there. I
Okay, guys.
love that.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
see you next week.
All right.
Have a
Bye.
Thank
great
you.
week.
Bye bye. Have a
Thank you.
good time.
See you
Bye.
Yeah.
later. Bye.
Bye.